The Aseret Yemei Tshuva and Yom Kippur are a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity for us to make a new start, for us to clean our slate from all the things that we regret from the past. But sometimes it can be daunting. There's so many things. How do I know where to start? How do I know where to begin to work on? So two of our great Musar masters, Rav Yisrael Salanter and Rav Yerucham Levovitz, give us piece of advice that can really help us have an amazing Yom Kippur and an amazing way to take advantage of this opportunity. Rav Yisrael Salanter tells us a very important rule. When we are thinking about where we want to start, we have so many things to think about. Our natural tendency is to think of the big things. What are the big things that I need to work on? What are the big mistakes that I made this year? But Rav Yisrael Salanter points out that the Gemara says exactly the opposite. The Gemara asks the question in Menachos, which is worse? Somebody in the times of the Beis HaMikdash who would wear white tzitzis without the blue string of the tcheles, or somebody who would wear the tcheles, the blue string, without the white ones. And the Gemara answers with a mashal, with a parable. If a king were to ask two of his servants which to create a signet ring for him, one of them he asks to make it out of gold, and one of them he asks to make it out of tar. And he gives them a week to do it. The two servants come back after a week, and the king asks to see their work, and neither one did it. So to the one who was supposed to make a signet ring out of gold, he says, listen, you should have kept the word of the king, but I understand that it's hard to get gold. But to the one who was supposed to make a signet ring out of tar, he says, what's your excuse? The only reason you didn't make a signet ring out of tar, which is so easy to get, is because you don't care enough. And so the Gemara is telling us that the worse punishment is for the person who wears the blue string without the white. Because the white strings are cheap, they're so easy to get. How could you not have done it? Says Rav Yisrael Salanter, this is a piece of advice that can change our Yom Kippur. We want to focus on everything, but if you try to focus on everything, we end up focusing on nothing. The most important things for us to focus on when we want to change are the small things. What are the little things that are so little that of course I could change that? Maybe we didn't have kavanah, we didn't have the proper intention in every bracha that we made this year. But could we have an intention in one bracha a day? In one word of one bracha a day? Yeah, that I could have done. So then why aren't I? Those are the golden opportunities to show Hashem that I really care about my relationship with Him. The big things, of course, we have to work on. But Hashem knows that it's hard for us to work on them. But the small things, where the only thing standing in the way is having the ratzon, is having the desire for a relationship with Hashem, those are the things that are the most important to work on during this time of year. Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz takes the idea of one idea further. He says, when we try to make a list of all the things we did this year, who could make such a list? There's so many things. The list is too long. It says Rabbi Yerucham, if we dig deep into ourselves, we find that the actions we do come from a shorish, come from a root. They come from a midah, they come from a character trait. And if I can find a character trait inside myself that's a little bit weaker than it could be, I know that from that character trait came many, many, many actions this year. And so says Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz, if I can't do tshuva, if I can't mention everything I've ever done wrong, because I forgot a lot of them, I won't think about a lot of them, it's too many. So if I can find that root, and I can do tshuva on the root, then all the actions that came from that root, it is considered that I did tshuva on all of those actions. If some of my actions this year came from laziness, so if I work on my laziness just a little bit, I just did tshuva on all of those things that came from my laziness. If it was from selfishness, if it was from arrogance, whatever it is that I could work on a little bit, if I work on the root, it's as if I did tshuva on all of the actions that came from that root. So with these two pieces of advice, we know we can start with the little things, and it's not just starting with the little things. The little things are the most important to do tshuva on, because they're the things that we can change and things that most indicate how our relationship with God is. And if we can't do it on all the actions, look for the shorish, look for the root, those things inside us that we could change just a little bit will bear massive fruit in our actions throughout the coming year. I wish everybody a Gemar Chesed Tova, a successful Yom Kippur, a happy Yom Kippur, and a year that's full of all the brachas that you're davening for during these days.